Welcome to the Community Difference Plano. Powered by the Difference Media LLC. And hosted by Nathan Smith with Enfuego Financial. And sponsored by Home Smart Stars. PVJ Mortgage. Gaston Investments. Jim Thomas, Business Consulting and Funding. And by Diane Castle with Castle to Castle.
The Community Difference Plano was created to serve as a platform for local leaders and business professionals to showcase their expertise, values, and commitment to their community. Overall, the podcast aims to create a stronger sense of community in North Texas by highlighting the often overlooked or unnoticed good work being done by local leaders, businesses, and professionals.
So sit back and relax as our host, co-host, and their guests share inspirational stories, experiences, thoughts and insights about being a professional along with the opportunities for our businesses to serve our communities in very special ways. Because the Community Difference Plano starts now.
Good morning. Welcome to the Community Difference Plano. I am your host, Nathan Smith, where we are dead set on determining what is it that makes the difference between businesses that succeed and businesses that fail. And what we've determined is, everybody wants to be seen, be heard, and be remembered. So we want to integrate the things that we know you guys are all working on, things like networking, staying top of mind, SEO rankings, just general business development to help you really understand what it takes to be successful in the business world. And we do that live in front of you through the medium of podcasting and live streaming. And we want to bring you not only pertinent guests in your community, the community of Plano, but people that are going to help expand and grow your networks, that can teach you some things. And of course, a lot of learning on our own live right here on the air. So to all of our viewers in our multiple communities in Frisco and Denton and Wiley and Rockwall, and of course Plano, the surrounding areas. Welcome to the show today. We're excited to have you here. We've got a great guest lineup. We've got our phenomenal co-host this week. Introduce him in just a minute. But again, excited to have you guys here. A special shout out to our Community Difference Plano Facebook group, our Community Difference Business Alliance group, and all of our surrounding community groups as we get ready to embark on another show. Important announcement, we do have our first Plano Lunch and Learn. If you want to learn more about the difference, how you can make the difference in your business, how you can be a part of the movement that we're doing in North Texas throughout our communities. Maybe you want to bring a show to your community. We figure out how to level up your business. We've got our first Lunch and Learn for Plano that's put on by this show specifically. It's going to be this Monday at 11:30, and it's in Plano. Well, if you'll check the comments, we'll have that on our website, exactly the address, and put the flyer up for you guys. Or you can just contact myself or Lyndon, who's producing in the background. You don't see him very often, but you do get to hear him. So I'll let him pop his voice in here at least. Lyndon, good morning to you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am well. You're you're getting ready. We talked in the pre-show. We're getting ready for you to be able to go on the road here before long, which is going to be exciting. You probably need to get away every once in a while. You've got your.
It's been a minute.
You got your hunting lease. Where's your lease at? You don't tell people exactly, obviously, but
Oklahoma, Southeast Oklahoma.
Okay, so that narrows it down to 55,000 acres or something. I don't know. So you'll never find him, but he needs to get away every once in a while, which is a good thing. So again, my name is Nathan Smith with Enfuego Financial. My goal, of course, in business is to help people that have a passion for helping others get out of their job, escape the corporate prison, teach them how to build their own business in the financial space. We've got phenomenal partners that we work with, and just so excited to be a part of the journey that we're on. But enough about me. I am joined by Brenda Thompson with Home Smart Star. She's got a stellar team of agents ready to meet your every need. And of course, Debbie Watson with the Watson team, and just two wonderful ladies. Good morning to both of you. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Doing great this morning. Happy to be here.
Yes. Brenda, give me a little bit, just a little enticing a bit about you for our listeners, and we'll obviously get to talk a little more in our further segments coming up.
Oh gosh. So I have been in real estate for 22 years. So, as you know, I get questions about the market all the time. And, oftentimes we bring it up even on this show. And I can comfortably say I've seen just about every market there is, even for generations, all generations. When we hit COVID, that was a whole new thing for all of us. So I've survived it all and I'm still here doing it and loving it.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. I can speak for Debbie. Debbie and I have similar partners, different offices, but she is a phenomenal person. She's a whiz when it comes to helping and serving people. Debbie, how long have you been in your line of work?
I've been doing financial coaching for 13 years now and just love that. Love helping families, making sure that they're on track to meet their financial goals.
I feel like Debbie is a ball of energy, excuse me, which makes me tired, which I shouldn't be. I've been working out though, so I'm getting there, and I'm just swallowed my tea wrong.
Oh, no. Yeah, ball of energy, and I could even be your mom. So there you go. It's just like you got to think young and stay young.
Well, I'll let you say that. I'm not going to say that, so you can say that. Well, guys, thank you for all of our different hosts. So you unfortunately have to see me every week, but you get to see rotating co-host. Each co-host really owns their week of this show in Plano. So you get a nice variety of different folks to get to know and connect with. And so we recommend watching, each week, because you're going to get not only different guests, but different takes on our monthly topic, but also different opportunities to find that right person that's going to help at least connect you to the maybe it is one of our co-hosts or somebody that they know to help grow your network or to teach you whatever that next thing is that's going to help explode your business. Now let's bring in our guest. She is the CEO and founder of RedBottom Roofing, a native of Texas, born and raised in McKinney. She's got an incredibly powerful story. One of 6 children, a good friend of mine, Miss Silberia Duran. Good morning to you. I said Duran, it's Duran. I don't know why I said it like that. That's weird.
You don't have to fancy it up.
Well, I panicked because you put your maiden name in there, and I'm like, but I don't know why you. Okay, so that's.
I know. You know what's funny is that's really a struggle. Well, for me, maybe not all women. Like when we're going to get married, I'm like, what do I do with my name? You have that name for so long. And my husband was confused. He was like, well, you don't need it anymore. I'm like, it's who I am.
I completely am with you. It took me a long time because I had built my business as Brenda Myers, my maiden name. Yeah. So for a long time, I used both. And then when I finally dropped my maiden name, it was dropped legally from the very beginning of getting married. But when I finally dropped it from a business standpoint, I was like, all right, now I own the Thompson name. So.
Yeah, it's a thing, Nathan. I'm not sure if you're aware of that,
but real quick, Silberia, 30 seconds. How you got into roofing? I know you used to be with another company. Now you started your own, which is awesome.
Yeah, so got into roofing. It's funny when people ask me that, I tell them that it was survival. I got into roofing for survival. That's how most people get into roofing. So I was a single mom of 2 boys at the time and got introduced to it. And I said, okay, well, here we go. And there's a deeper story on how I started off my own, and we can get into that later on. But the short answer is survival. So been in it for a little over 4 years now, and really I took off last year as far as my business really took off, and RedBottom Roofing has experienced some really great success.
Well, that's awesome. You mentioned your kids, and of course I have 2 kids, and one of the things we like to do is we have a movie night. We watch movies together, and our setup is not very good, but I know our next guest can help with that. Cherie, make sure I say it right, Griffin, Home Theater Design Group. We'll get you sounded, look, feel good. Miss Cherie, good morning to you. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning. I'm so excited to be here. And yeah, I may know a thing or two about a sound system. Our business is 27 years old this year. And so much like Brenda said earlier, I've seen just about every market. I hear that. I remember when it took 5 guys to haul a TV into your family room, and now 1 guy hangs it on the wall like a picture frame. Absolutely.
I had a quick story. We'll introduce Edward, then we'll go to break. But I had my grandparents threw out this. Remember the TVs that used to be built into furniture? They were part of the furniture. Yeah. So we threw that into the landfill one time. We had another old TV, And I just for fun thought I'll throw this other old TV on top of the screen of this furniture TV. And so, he's in the landfill to break. It bounced off the screen because I'm pretty sure this glass was like that thick. And it made sense because it weighed like 10,000 pounds. So yeah, they've definitely got a lot lighter over the years. So I can't wait to hear more about how you got in that. And then lastly, also speaking of children, our next guest, Mr. Franklin Edwards, has written a number of books for children. And I want to introduce him before we go to break. Edward, can you hear us? Having some issues hearing, I think. Hello.
Franklin, can you hear him?
Franklin, I mean, yeah. Uh-oh. Well, okay. So I think Franklin may be having some technical difficulties. So here's what we'll do. We're going to get more into that. We're going to come back for What's Up Plano. We'll go to our first break. On the other side of our break, hopefully we can get Franklin back in gear, and then we'll go to What's Up Plano. But we're going to get to know the rest of our guests here on our third segment. So stick around on the Community Difference. We'll be right back.
The Community Difference Plano is made possible by Nathan Smith with Enfuego Financial, Diane Castle with Castle to Castle, connecting charities to fundraising solutions, Jim Thomas, business consultant and business funding expert, Brenda Thompson with Home Smart Stars, Sonia Lowry with Gaston Investments and Development, and by Jacqueline Kreider with PBJ Mortgage. The Community Difference Plano. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
Are you ready?
Because it's time for
What's Up Plano?
Probably my favorite segment, What's Up Plano? We want to bring you the news and events that are pertinent to you. My personal goal is to build the relationships with the right people that make sure that the right information gets into not only our co-hosts and our guests, but also our Plano citizens. And one of the things that's coming up, in fact, I'll start with this. We've been touting a really cool event in Plano that they do. I think this is the 4th year. It's called Texas Forever Fest. It's going to be March the 24th. We'll be out there meeting people with the Community Difference. It was an event that was kind of brought to our attention by City Councilman Shelby Williams as we started to develop a relationship with him. And I understand that it's the only really serious Texas Independence Day celebration for miles and miles around. I don't know why more people aren't celebrating it, but they're not. So Plano will do it, and they'll do a good job. It's at Haggard Park, 11 to 6. There's live music, all kinds of arts, food. Different businesses will have booths there. It's a great time. Beautiful park right there in downtown Plano at Haggard Park. So mark your calendars for that. And just it really is a good time. The weather will be great, even though I'm pretty sure winter is officially over. The weather will be nice. It won't be too hot, won't be too cold. So I want to make sure that we are there for that. All right, now you may have heard that there is early voting happening right now. There we go, Franklin. Let's do this real quick because before we continue with our segment, I want to get Franklin back in here. Can you hear us, Franklin?
Yes, I can hear everybody now.
Okay, so we're going to hold off on the news that I want to share. Apologies, you were having some technical difficulties. So real quick, just introduce yourself, how you got into being an author, and then we'll get to know you a little bit more in our third segment.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Franklin Edwards, and the way I got into being an author was one day my mom just reached out to me and suggested, I should write a book because I was always good at it, and I just love helping people. And 15 books later, here I am.
That's 15 books more than I think all of us have. Yeah, just 15, just a casual. And you did I see that you were featured on PBS? Did I see that?
Yes, sir. I have a partnership with PBS. They read my book sometimes on the show called Teaching Room 9 that just aired, launched a couple months back. Yes, sir.
Well, I can't wait to get to know you more in our third segment. So thank you I'm sorry you were having some technical difficulties. So one of the things that you may be thinking, okay, well, what do you heard that early voting is happening, and sometimes in the midst of our businesses we're running, our lives, our kids, we don't even know what that means. We don't who's on the ballot. because let's be honest, most of us for our adult lives have basically voted in the presidential election, if that, and nothing else. But we spend a lot of time talking about the importance of really how local elections impact your life the most, from your city to then your county and then your state. And we don't spend a lot of time talking about that. So I want to provide a resource here. We're not here to tell you who to vote for. We just want to let you know what's available. And so if you guys, pretty simple, there's an easy website called ballotmedia.org. If you scroll down, you can put your address in there, and then they can even email you a copy of what's going to be on your ballot. Okay. Now, I've already put my address in here. I'm not going to show it to you, but if you go up here now, you can see there's 2 elections. There's one on March 5th, and there's obviously the one in November. But you can see what's available: President of the United States, U.S. Senate, obviously. And you're not voting for president; you're voting for who you want to be on the ballot there. But more importantly, all these state of Texas positions, depending on what city or area you're in, some of these may be slightly different. But there's Supreme Court places, District Court of Appeals. All these things are very important, and you may be overwhelmed and just vote for who you want to vote for. That's fine. I just want you to know that's there. But then we get down to local: Collin County Sheriff, tax assessor. These are things that really affect us as business owners. So we want to know who's in charge. You know, is it somebody that we align with? We want to be there. What are they doing? How are services as business owners and citizens? All these things are available in District Court. So now that you know, you can take the time to either just go vote and vote how you want to vote, or do some research on the candidates, the incumbents, et cetera. So I want to make sure that that information is there. And then lastly, the mayor's office, I called and checked with one of their representatives. We had the mayor on a couple of weeks ago. Phenomenal guy, phenomenal show. I invite you to check that out. But for our high school kids, if you are in high school, either anywhere in Plano or also in Hebron High School, and you're you maintain at least a 3.0 grade point average, basically, you can apply for the mayor's summer internship program. Okay. So to get more information about that, all you've got to do is go to planomayorsinterns.org, how to become an intern, how to apply. But it's actually a paid internship, which there's not as many of those as there used to be. So that's a really cool thing to learn about. If you're interested in political science, politics, or just want to know city workings, or just have something good for your resume as you go off to college, that's going to be a great thing for your teenager to apply for that program. So I highly recommend that you guys take a look at that if you have anybody in high school. All right, now we've got some other exciting things going on. Brenda would like to share a couple of really cool events that are coming up that I think everybody needs to be aware of.
Yes, thank you. So there are a couple of things coming up at the Plano Event Center that I think are advantageous for people, for everyone really, because it kind of gets the spectrum of individuals. So the Plano Event Center, if you're not familiar with where it's giant, but it is at 2000 East Spring Creek Parkway. So both of these things that I'm talking about are there at the Plano Event Center. The first one is this month in February. It's February 28th, so right at the end of the month. I believe we have 29 days this year. I believe it is a leap year, but on February 28th, from 10 to 1, this is a free event, and it is the Senior Expo. Within real estate, I've had a lot of opportunity to speak to a lot of individuals who are making different moves through their retirement. And so this event is geared towards seniors, whether you're making a move or not, but it's free admission. They have free health screenings. There's coffee and bagels. There's prizes every hour. There are giveaways. It's just great information that will help individuals learn more about Medicare coverage, learn more about senior living, whether that's independent living, assisted living, all the different things that seniors need as they progress through life. Everything all the way to veteran benefits, audiology, senior care, senior travel, hospice care if you need that, financial planning, legal assistance. So all kinds of different things that are geared toward seniors. Again, it's a free event, and it is February 28th from 10 to 1. And then another
That's next week, next Saturday? No, that's
That
next.
is-
That's next Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, it's during
Yes,
the
next
week.
Wednesday.
Yep. During the week on a Wednesday. So 1 week from today.
I need to connect you with our brand new co-host. She's going to start in March, but she was a guest last week, Tracy Duff. She's with Assisted Living Locators. That's a tough one to say. You guys,
Yes.
I don't know if y'all have met. She may be aware of this event already. I'm sure she is.
I'm sure she is.
But
yeah.
but y'all need to connect on that because that's going to be
Yeah,
very important.
you
for
know,
her.
it's if you haven't ever had a parent, a friend, a relative, or yourself who has needed to kind of change up your living style. I mean, for most of us, you think about the house you raise your children in isn't always the house you need years later. And so with that comes different things, both from the house, but what do you want around you and how do you plan for retirement? So there are a lot of things that come into play as we and I'm on my pathway. So as we age, things that change and you need different things. So I love a free expo where you can go and just learn. Coming up in a couple of months is the bridal show. And I'm not talking about that one yet because it's still a few months away, but that's another one that the Plano Event Center does. That's a really good information gathering event. The other one that I want to talk about though is in March and it's coming up soon. It is March 3rd to the 5th. So just in a couple of weeks, starts on a Sunday through Tuesday. It's also at Plano Event Center and it is great for parents. So this one is for parents, maybe even expectant moms and children. And this is it's called the Divine Consign Spring 2024 Kids and Maternity Consignment Sale. And it is exactly that. It is a consignment sale for gently used items, both maternity, which, you know, ladies, we don't need those items for very long, but you still want to look good those 9 months, right? So it is an opportunity to pick up some gently used items for both maternity and for children. And so I think that's another great event to attend. It is at the Plano Event Center, so it's a big opportunity, and it runs from March 3rd to the 5th.
It sounds like we just need to all go to the Plano Event Center website and just see everything
Absolutely.
that's going on there.
That's Absolutely. Awesome. They do on their, they have all of their events coming up. And those are the ones that, you know, I think speak to most of us, but they have events regularly and ongoing and a great opportunity for business owners. If you need a place to host an event, you can on their website get information on that too.
Well, if you're interested in sports radio and you listen to The Ticket, their event is this weekend at the Plano Event Center. Ticket Stock 2024. I will be at a wedding, so I usually try to go because it's literally 5 minutes from my house. So there's a free plug for The Ticket, as if they need any more plugs. But last thing here before we go to break shortly, anybody do any gardening? Any flowers, vegetables? No, just me. Okay. So
I try it this time of the year, and then by summer, I'm bored with watering. Does that count?
Well, you have to have a watering system, otherwise you will neglect water for sure. That's very important. So you can actually your Plano garden, because we have a garden. We just planted it thanks to the help of my father-in-law, and I've gotten into it where we have a couple raised beds, but then a whole section that we've plowed up and. We've got a ton of cold weather vegetables, and then we're going to get all those up and get warm weather. But I say all that to say, you can actually get your Plano garden, whether it's a vegetable garden or a flower garden, you can get it certified as a wildlife habitat. Okay, so if you go to nfw.org/certify, this is actually pretty cool. I'll share this with you guys. You could, and why that's important is because I guess it makes you feel good. That you have such a good green thumb that somebody recognizes your hard work. But I thought that was really cool. This is in some of the information that they sent over from the mayor's office. And I wish you guys did some gardening because I find it pretty cathartic and relaxing. And there's just when you're focusing on making sure that your plants thrive and not die, or you're sitting out there watering, you can do a lot of thinking. A lot of people think in the shower. I think while I'm showering plants. So it's different that way. So if you are a green thumb, and I know there's a lot of people because there's a whole gardening community in Plano. In fact, some of our Rotary clubs and Lions clubs. They have some community gardens as well. And so I know it's a big deal for a lot of people. But if you want to check that out, I highly recommend it because, hey, who knows? You could have your backyard, your garden certified as a natural wildlife. Whatever. I'm trying to think of the word. But I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if we're quite there yet. We probably have to do this a few more seasons and get it really figured out because there is certainly an art form to it. As I'm learning, like, watering too much, not watering enough, the different types of bugs, different type of soil. I mean, there's a lot to it. And so I'm really excited about it, but I don't think we're ready to submit quite yet. So, hey, when we get back, we're going to get to know Franklin, Silberia, and Cherie. We're going to get to do a roundtable discussion and dive into them, their lives, their businesses. Stick around on the Community Difference Plano. We'll be right back.
And now a word from a few of our amazing sponsors that make the Difference Radio, Livestream, and Podcast Network possible.
JP Direct Health offers affordable health insurance solutions for individuals, families, and small businesses specializing in custom coverages to fit your needs and budget. JP Direct Health offers comprehensive benefits, including PPO health plans, accident and critical illness coverage, dental and vision, health matching accounts, along with telehealth at no cost per call. Call JP Direct Health today to learn more about how we can help you protect your health and your budget.
Do you want your home or office to sparkle? Then call Elite Diamond Cleaning today. From basic cleaning to deep cleaning, and using only the highest quality cleaning products and equipment, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Our team of experienced cleaners will work quickly and efficiently to clean every nook and cranny, taking care of all the details so you don't have to. With a variety of pricing options to fit any budget, you can be sure that you are getting the best possible price. Call Elite Diamond Cleaning today at 214-300-9876 to schedule a free estimate. Your home and office is a diamond. Let us get it out of the dust.
Frisco Fighters prepare to reach new heights at Comerica Center this spring. From competitive matchups to exciting theme nights, you won't want to miss a second of the action. Join us and experience high-scoring, hard-hitting indoor football that's fun for the whole family to enjoy. Visit FriscoFighters.com for game highlights, tickets, or to reserve your spot at the Tarmac Tailgate Party. Frisco Fighters, fly with us.
Are you looking to buy a home? The process can be daunting, but it doesn't have to be. With the help of a qualified loan officer like Paul Fisher, you can get the financing you need and get into your dream home. Paul Fisher, a direct local lender with Certainty Home Lending, has many years of experience helping people buy homes. He's knowledgeable, experienced, and he'll work with you to find the best loan for your needs. Contact Paul Fisher today to get started on your home buying journey. He'll help you every step of the way, so you can relax and focus on finding your dream home. Visit www.loansbyfisher.com or call 817-308-7361 to schedule a consultation with Paul. MLS number 2018111. Are you a business owner looking to grow your company? Get fast, easy financing up to $5 million with no minimum FICO score required. Apply in 60 seconds and get funded in 24 hours. Call Jim Thomas at 214-629-7223 to talk to a financing professional today. Your business's future is waiting. So don't delay. Call now and tell him that you saw him on The Difference.
And now back to the show.
Well, welcome back. We are here alongside a phenomenal panel of guests today, and obviously our co-host. And I failed to mention this. Debbie is co-hosting with us today, but she's actually part of our Frisco community. She's a Frisco co-host, but we try to intermingle just to get to know and connect each other with different communities as well. So we're so glad to have Debbie on with us today. I'm going to jump right in because we talk about our different businesses, roofing, home theater design, author, which we haven't had an author, which is pretty awesome. But it's not so much the what we do, but it's the story behind it that really defines a lot of how we got to where we are. So I'll just start with you, Sil, and then we'll just go around. What's the story behind how you got into roofing and what inspired you. You talked about survival, so I'm sure you didn't grow up wanting to be a roofer, but just talk about your story, because you have a real powerful backstory that I think leads you to be the entrepreneur that you are.
Yeah, no, I didn't grow up in roofing. I didn't grow up wanting to be on roofs or I was very much a tomboy growing up. It would have been nothing for me to climb a roof, but never thought that I would land in the roofing industry. Just a few short years ago, my two boys and I, we had nothing. We'd gone through a season of life of, I caught myself sleeping on my sister's couch, me and my two boys, and not a place to live. And, I had somebody introduce roofing and say, is this something that you think you might be interested in building and help, learn the ins and outs of the industry. And I was really hesitant during the time. And, but the more we sat with it, and I thought, okay, this is the direction I'm going to go. Again, when your back's up against the wall, I had to find a way to feed my children. And, again, it looked like something that was going to work for us. And so it did. So I jumped in and dove in completely, went 110% and started to learn as much as I could. And then at the end of 2022, I launched RedBottom Roofing, which is my company. And so literally red bottoms, so it's interesting, I'll meet with some folks and they're like, I don't know what that is. And usually it's a male. And so I'll just tell them, I'll direct them to their wives. And I'm like, ask your wife, she'll know what it is. But yeah, so just coming from a space of, not having anything and had to learn something new completely. I really had nothing. I had no idea about the roofing system, and I knew it went on top of the house and I could spell it kind of and that was it. And so, I'm really big. I think one of the things that have led to my success is being able to share my story and the testimony of where I was before and really what this industry has provided for me and my family and my children. And I think through that transparency has, again, created success around RedBottom Roofing, be able to share the transparency with homeowners. And I think, a lot of people approach that of the real, really feeling close and connected.
Yeah, it's funny. Lyndon just mentioned something in the comments. So, one of the things that we talk about, just being the difference, right? The community difference and overall the difference media is what is that distinction that gives you differentiation. And your story is certainly part of that. But just from a branding standpoint, that shoe, that RedBottom shoe, that is unmistakably you. So that's very cool. Yeah. So when we get to branding, and I know you'll be able to talk to this more because that's certainly a part of social media, which is our topic. So I want to hear more about how you came to that. Let's go to Cherie. Now, you probably, like Sil, didn't grow up thinking home theater systems. That's what I'm going to be a part of. So what's your background story? How did you get into being an entrepreneur? And I'm assuming there's something, the story that unfolds that leads you to where you're at today.
Absolutely. Well, I actually loved TV as a kid. So, Saturday morning, the TV with, well, I'm really old. I'm going to date myself and say I was the kid that got the dry cereal and went and had to change the TV with, the little motor thing. Yeah, I got some nods there. But yeah, so that's about all I knew about TV. And my mom and dad resisted the cable company. So I was sometimes the antenna as well in my youth. And who knew that I'd be getting set up for something in the future. My background was in nursing until I was in my early 30s, and I met this amazing man. His name's Brad Griffin, who grew up in Plano, graduated from Plano Senior High, and he had a passion for home theater and home audio. He had a competition car that he used to do sound audio with, and so when the opportunity presented itself, he got downsized from a Fortune 100 company. And I said, let's go give this thing a shot. And that was 27 years ago this month. So we've seen a lot of markets change. Quick fun story. My husband, obviously very into audio, but he actually mowed lawns in Plano as a kid to buy his first stereo system.
That's
So,
right. That's awesome.
you know, it was in his blood. And, you know, he said, why not? Why not us? And so anyway, we gave it a shot, and we're still living the dream 27 years later, and have just, you know, it has truly been an amazing ride. So when we opened the company, we decided to call it Home Theater Design Group because we hope to design home theaters and that there'd be more than just us someday. And we have checked both of those boxes.
You know, so it's interesting. You like Silberia have kind of got into your line of work. You're out of necessity. Like it's just, and it's interesting because the right people, you know, they look at setbacks as an opportunity. You know, so many people would have just, okay, let's just go find another job. And again, sometimes that's the right thing to do at the time for sure. But it's interesting where, you know, you guys both got presented with a challenge and you said, okay, well, how can we build something where we don't have to worry about this anymore? You know, there'll be no more downsizing, right? So that's really inspiring. Franklin, you are, go ahead.
I just want to jump in and say, I think that's absolutely right, because it's looking at whether it's a door that closes or the door that just isn't there at all anymore, and looking at that as an opportunity instead of how can I find a door, create a door, open a door, and then taking that as a new path. I love it. But 27 years later, it's worked.
Before we actually get to Franklin, you made me think of something, Sheree, and Lyndon in the private chat here was talking about you talking about the antenna. So I do remember that. I do remember the UHF, VHF. Did anybody have to go on the roof to adjust the antenna? That was yes. A thing at some point.
Yes.
And then I always remember, even before they had the screw-in coaxial cable, they had the antenna connected with the little prongs. Yeah, you guys remember those? That was
well. The best part was there was no cell phones then, so somebody would be on the antenna up on the roof, and you would be screaming throughout the house.
Left.
Yes.
Don't move.
Yeah.
And as long since we conduct electricity, as long as we're holding on to it, it like seems to be good. But the moment we let go, it's done.
And don't forget, if there was static, if it didn't work, you would just cover it with aluminum foil.
Oh yeah, that was the fix all. Yep. Debbie, what were you gonna say?
Well, I'm sure Franklin doesn't know anything that we're talking about because he's so young. But I did wanted to say with Sil, you know, how is it? I love the name, by the way, of your company, but also in probably pretty well a male dominant world. You know, I give you props for that because it definitely is not a woman industry. I've been seeing more women in it, but it definitely is not, you know, a woman's industry. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I'm sure Nathan will maybe we'll dive into it later, but truly I've been fortunate it's been pretty welcoming, you know, to have a female in the industry and seeing, I mean, I just had it yesterday. I think it's almost daily that somebody's like, you're going to get on my roof. Like yeah, yes, me. Little bitty old me. I'm gonna be up there. But it's been, yeah, you're right. So it definitely stands out, right? That's the first thing that stands out, and then the heel to go along with that. So that's along with my logo is it's actual a picture of a RedBottom heel as well.
Yeah, you know, if you think about it, if your roof is damaged, you much rather someone weighs nothing in phenomenal shape get on your roof than 400-pound Bubba that's been roofing for 20 years and might fall through. You know, it's actually makes a lot more sense from a safety standpoint.
I think I give props to those guys way more than myself. I mean,
yeah, if you're doing it for that long.
And yet, as someone who wears heels, I give props to those of us who can gracefully walk across any room.
Yeah, right.
That's what you want on your roof because
she doesn't wear the heels on the roof, though. Let's make sure we understand this.
Maybe not on the roof.
But your work boots do have a red bottom to them.
No, we'll talk about that later too. But my work boot, and I'll tell you all the story about that later. Yeah.
So, all right, Franklin. Now that I appreciate that you are just trying to figure out what all these old people are talking about that have been around a long time. But you, if I was as accomplished as you are at your age, I'm not gonna ask you how old you are. You're probably 12 or 13. But but seriously, all joking aside, what you've done with your authorship of these books is pretty phenomenal. Now, you don't have kids yourself yet, correct?
No, I don't.
So what led you? You gave us a little bit about your mom encouraging you, but what's the larger backstory on how you figured out, man, this is something I could do, but this is something that's very needed? Because let's be honest, I think we're all fighting against some bad literature getting into the hands of our children that seems to be rampant, unfortunately. And so having these resources that you're providing is a welcomed a resource for sure.
Oh, yes, sir. The way I got, like, I guess the whole story is, ever since I was young, like, I never thought I would be an author. Like, I never really had, like, aspirations growing up. Like, I always played sports, but my teachers, like, always throughout the years, always told me that, like, I was a great writer. And it kind of stayed in the back of my head. And that's why I think teachers are so important, like encouraging ones. Because even though, like, growing up, I really didn't know what I wanted to be, I always thought I was going to do something with writing because it just came so, like, easily to me and naturally. And I always just like to help people. And so I kind of combined all my passions of, being a great writer. Like, I don't just necessarily get up and write or journal every single day, but I just know I've always had the talent, my love for helping people, and my love for just, spreading, God and, good Christian messages. I kind of all blended it together, and authorship kind of fell into my lap. It was never planned, thought out. One day when my mom asked me, had I ever been interested in writing a book, I wanted to, take advantage because I don't like to say no to opportunities that may help me. Like, I had no plans of it going this far at all. Like, I was going to write one book, and it was kind of just like a bucket list thing. I was going to bring it up casually in conversations and like, hey, I wrote a book, but it just, people just loved the concept. My first one was Just Be Yourself. They loved how, it spreaded positivity. And I was just like, you know what? If people love it so much and they keep encouraging me to do it, who am I to say no to continue to help people and better the community? So that's how it kind of spiraled and kept growing.
Well, these are some awesome topics. And I like it. A lot of these, obviously, I'm assuming the character of Franklin is based on you. But
yes.
How much of this is your upbringing and some of the things that you, the values that were instilled in you, I'm assuming pour into your writings? Is that a safe assumption?
Really all of them. Like, so like throughout the years, I just remember times where I had trouble like showing people forgiveness or apologizing or being humble. And I just like look in the mirror and be like, okay, this is what I struggle with throughout my life. I could write about it, teach someone or a child or even an adult the right thing to do. And, they can kind of learn from my mistakes. So I guess like kind of all of it is I didn't necessarily deal with the situations like exactly how they're written out in the book, but like broadly I deal with like, I wasn't taking accountability for my actions at one point. So I figured, let me help kids do that so they can be better than me,
Well, talk about, that's a direct community impact, which I think is so needed. I know we really love Plano community, but there's always the more good and positive things that can be infused into our kids and our community and our adults and resources. That's just a phenomenal thing. So guys, a couple minutes.
Real quick, he also does classes to teach children how to write books too. And so he's even helped other children do books that now have a side income as young as they are, no matter what, and that they actually are getting money coming in because of the books that they publish. So he really is about helping everyone.
I love that. That's fantastic. Before we break here in a couple minutes, just want a quick 10, 15 seconds from everybody. Just talking about our Plano community. I know there's a lot of, Debbie, you're from the Frisco area, but also, just kind of twin sisters to Plano.
Yep.
But what are some things that you appreciate or like about the Plano community that maybe just highlight something that maybe our listeners don't know about? I know Cherie, we'll start with you. Your husband grew up here, went to Plano High School, but what are some things that you just really value in this community?
It's interesting because we live in McKinney, but our home church is in Plano, and that seems to be where we go for our community. And so just the ability to get to know people across a lot of different life stages and things like that in the Plano community. It's very diverse and a wonderful mix of people.
Franklin, what about yourself?
Plano is a great place to open up a business. Not only my store in the bookstore, but before I even had my bookstore, I used to train kids in basketball at a church in Plano, and they were just very welcoming and allowing me to, start my business. So I think Plano is a great place to start a business.
And still, you obviously kind of have a whole Collin County area that you service, but specifically, what are some things that you really appreciate about this community?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in McKinney, and so back when growing up, Plano wasn't what it was today. So I've really enjoyed, the growth and with the area that they had, and when they revitalized, that downtown area and some of those buildings, I thought that was a really cool concept. I really feel like McKinney and other places kind of followed that many years ago, and so I really appreciated them taking the time to again revitalize that whole area.
Yeah, and there's a lot more revitalization projects coming as well. So when we get back, we're going to dive into our topic, leveraging social media, increasing brand awareness, and customer engagement in a local setting. I can't wait to hear the questions and all the things that we're doing to try and assess that for our own businesses, but just be able to learn from each other. So stick around. We'll be right back on the Community Difference Plan.
The Community Difference is a new series of shows powered by the Difference Radio Livestream and Podcast Network. This series of shows was designed to highlight the unsung heroes that call our towns and communities home. And we wanted to create a platform that brings awareness to and reminds folks of the goodness that lives within so many of us. By working with the local community leaders, business owners, first responders, veterans, schools, and citizens who want to unite with a clear and selfless purpose, the Community Difference seeks to spotlight the people, events, and activities that are producing positive outcomes, inspirational stories, and incredible experiences. In a world that is consumed with negative press, media manipulation, and propaganda, The Difference, along with many others who believe and support The Difference, understands there is no better way to make the difference than to highlight the unsung heroes that call our towns and communities home. We are currently searching for local communities to be the focus of our shows, but before we can launch a show in your community, we need your help. We need you along with local business leaders, chambers of commerces, major nonprofits, online community group leaders, networking groups, etc., to join us in making the difference in helping your community be seen, be heard, and be remembered. So, if you would like to know how you, your business, school, social media community, church, or your favorite nonprofit organization can be a part of this unique and powerful program, reach out to us today and introduce yourself and let us know how you would like to contribute and bring awareness to the amazing people, places, and events that are making the difference in the community you love. You can call us at 972-866-4596 or email us at info@thedifferenceradio.com.
And now, back to the show.
All righty, guys, welcome back. We're going to dive right into our topic here, which, again, if you were listening right before the break, leveraging social media to increase brand awareness, customer engagement in a local setting. And I'm going to just start with Silberia because, as we discussed earlier, the differentiation, she has really branded herself well, and you are all over social media in a good way. So just talk to us a little bit about, what you've learned, what your strategy is, because, there's a lot of professions, and this is nothing against you, obviously, but you probably agree with this. A lot of professions that on their face are not overly sexy. Like roof is important, right? Real estate's important, but there's 1,000 people doing this. So when we're in those professions, we've got to figure out a way to sell ourselves and who we are and our values and our personalities. I feel like you've done a really good job at that, knowing you personally, but also seeing your social media blueprint. So what is your strategy, and what have you learned so far over the last year or so?
Yeah, no, I so appreciate that. It wasn't just the uniqueness of having a female in the industry, but I wanted to, how could I marry and create a new vision or a new picture for roofing? So the classiness of a red bottom heel, really how we came up with that name is my husband and I sat for a while with it. I mean, weeks with, how am I going to brand myself? What name do I want? And so as we discussed that, I took the time to think about how I wanted my homeowners to feel when they work with me, how I want the clients to feel, when they select Sil. And I started talking through it, and I said, my husband's name is Kyle. And I said, I want them to feel accomplished. I want them to feel success. I want them to feel good when they hire me. And as we were talking through that, my husband had actually bought me a pair of Christian Louis Vuittons in the past, and I told him, I said that's how I feel when I walk into a room with those shoes on. When somebody can identify that brand and they know what it stands for. They know that it feels success, it feels accomplished, it feels excellent. I'm like, that's how I want my clients to feel. And just right off the bat, he said RedBottom Roofing. And with that, like I said, I wanted to how do I marry? Because most people don't think of roofing and think classy or excellence. And I thought that would be a way to marry the two and bring new idea to what roofing can look like.
I like that too, because really, if we're being honest, there's a lot of roofing that has, these companies will just pop up overnight and chase disasters, and it gives it the complete opposite impression. So you had a real opportunity to rebrand not only yourself, but the industry in a better light too, which is very important.
And alongside with that, anybody who's starting to brand themselves, really sitting and thinking about what your ideal client would look like. And that I had to pair that with this too, and creating my name. And really when it comes to a home, when I do the residential roofing side, most times it's the woman making a decision when it comes to the home, right? Even though it's the roof and that's very, construction based, but it's more than just a house, it's your home, right? And so women really connect with, this is my home. This is what's protecting me and my family and my children. And so with that, creating a brand that will connect with what the ideal client and the ideal decision maker can identify with as well.
I like that a lot, because you really bring about a lot of facets of the whole process that I think people don't necessarily think about, but are very, very true. Franklin, you've grown up in the social media era, starting as a author and writer of success pretty early on. But from a social media standpoint, you've got a great website. You've obviously got some connections with some national PBS, and then you've been on a number of news networks, et cetera. But do you outsource social media? Do you do a lot of it yourself? What's your strategy when it comes to continuing to get the word out, the message out, your brand out for people to know and understand it and trust in you and what you're doing?
I like to utilize TikTok, because TikTok is like the newest, hottest, most fast growing social media. It's the one that's easiest to gain traction on. So I like to make a lot of day in the life videos and post them on TikTok, or whenever I go do a school visit, I'll like sync all the clips together of me at the school and post them. And it's just an easy way to reach a whole lot of people who never heard about you, never knew about you, versus Facebook and like Instagram. You have to go out and get followers, or you already have to know people and meet people. But TikTok, the way the algorithm works, you can be in front of thousands of people who've never heard of your business, and it can just grow way more rapidly.
It's funny, because I did TikTok for a while. Still, for businesses, I still hear that Instagram is kind of the most fully packaged, and if you do it right, if you really build the audience right, it's advantageous in that way. But you're correct; it's a lot harder to build a following. And so when I was on, I'm still on TikTok, but I haven't done a lot on it recently. And after what you just said, maybe I need to put my focus back there. But I think for a lot of people, and myself included, TikTok was like the Wild West for a while. Like, we're like, what is this? What is this thing? And there's, is it safe? Can I do, try to wade into the waters? But we've had a lot of people at our office that have used it and had success in it. So a lot of it, for you and younger folks, and even I guess I was being on the millennial Gen X cutoff. I'm a Xennial, I think is what technically I am. Still, you might be the same thing. I'm not sure. We started using computers and social media like in kindergarten, not social media, but computers. And so I'm kind of on that cusp. But most of the stuff that I've figured out, I've learned on my own, just trial and error. And I think probably the similar with you when it comes to TikTok. There's there's multiple resources out there for everybody, no matter what generation you're in. But a lot of it is taking time to get a shot too. And you want to have a game plan, obviously. And there's infinite free resources on how to be successful on all these platforms. But did you find that, with this, you're just kind of, let's just kind of figure it out and see how it goes? Or did you seek out additional information or help or coaching when you're getting this set up?
I did hire somebody at first to help me with my TikTok, but once I saw what she was doing, I just started doing it on my own. And
duplicate. Yeah. Learn and then duplicate. That's good. I like that.
I think it's just like a really like Gen Z thing. Like I just kind of know how to use it. It's just really easy to use. It doesn't take much for me to or anybody of my friends to figure out, what hashtags to use or what time to post to, gain the most traction. And it really helps because your followers increase. And then on TikTok, you can put links to your other social medias in your bio and you can get them to engage. It's really, take it from Gen Z, it's by far the best way to grow a following, whether you want it to be local in Dallas or you want people all the way to Australia to hear about you.
So how many followers do you have on your TikTok? I've got to ask you that.
I have to check. I think I have right now a little over 1,000.
Okay.
Not have just a lot, but
so you're just starting out, but it grows pretty quickly. I think, from what I understand.
Yeah, very rapidly, way faster than all the other ones. I really don't even like to use Instagram and Facebook anymore. My mom, she kind of manages those because it's just you're only talking to the same people who've been following you. Whereas TikTok, you talk to a brand new customer, a brand new potential customer, every time you post.
Interesting. Sheree, let's talk with you guys. What is your social media blueprint, your strategy? Is it hey, we're just getting into this, or we master Serene? Talk to us about kind of where you come from in that standpoint.
Well, it's interesting because we kind of straddle the fence of DIY and what people want to do on their own. And then when they call us up and they go, this isn't working, And so really our strategy is just kind of fun little did you knows, or talking about a new technology. Obviously, I mentioned earlier, it used to take 5 people to deliver that giant TV. And now it's one guy hangs it on the wall. And so some things like that have changed tremendously. So sometimes it's just, what can you do now? Much like Sylvia was talking about, women really are the decision makers in the home. And the fact is that we don't just do media systems. We started out that way 27 years ago, but now we actually integrate the full network into the house. And that's almost the foundation of whether you want to stream, run your lights, your pool spa, your doorbell, your security cameras, whatever. And so we have become a total home integrator. And with that, much like Sylvia talked about, we spend a lot of time building that trust and rapport. I constantly, and I think this comes from a female-owned business, is just we are invited into the places where people lay their babies' heads at night. This isn't an office meeting. This isn't in a conference room. We do those too. But the fact is there's got to be a level of trust as people are inviting you into work in their homes. And so we really work at that in using social media and things like that to build trust. Our email campaigns are probably our best things because we're building that rapport with our clients and sometimes, quite honestly, fishing from the same hole because they did something 5 years ago and they need an update to it.
It's interesting. It's really, whether it be from finance, roofing, home, real estate, obviously with Franklin, I mean, his influence is right into the minds of our children. We all have that intimate connection to something that's very valuable to people, their livelihood in a sense, which again is probably most businesses, if you think about it, if you break it down to its simplest form. And so really branding becomes more about not the product or the service, though you got to actually, check those boxes or you won't have a business, but it is about the trust. And, and I would just say for people that are struggling, maybe they're a little bit older or whatnot, or they just haven't taken the plunge into really understanding the importance of social media and engaging the community, etc., then we have these lunch and learns. We talk about all different topics. We'd love to meet with you. Just we have a ton of resources to help in that regard. And of course, being a part of our shows and coaches in our community, these are the conversations we want to have, right? Not only, this conversation right here is a content creation of its own, and so it's a big part of why we do what we do. And so we're going to go to our last break here in just a moment. When we come back, it is rapid fire time. We're going to get rid of all the serious questions and just talk about some really fun rapid fire questions. I'm going to remind our guests just 1 or 2 word answers, and then we'll let everybody wrap up the end. So stick around. You're going to love this next segment. We'll be right back.
The Community Difference Plano is made possible by Nathan Smith with Enfuego Financial, Diane Castle with Castle to Castle, connecting charities to fundraising solutions, Jim Thomas, business consultant and business funding expert, Brenda Thompson with Home Smart Stars, Sonia Lowry with Gaston Investments and Development, and by Jacqueline Kreider with PBJ Mortgage. The Community Difference Plano. Together, we can make the difference. And now, back to the show.
All right, it's time for rapid fire. Lyndon, hit the sounder, and we'll.
Are you ready?
Rapid fire.
All right, remember, 1 or 2 word answers. We're going to get through as many as we can. Then we'll come back and have everybody's final thoughts and wrap up the show. If you could wear a costume to work or to your job every day, what would you choose? I'll go first, give you guys a second to think about it. For me, don't think too much of this, a Superman costume. All right. Debbie.
It's so funny you said that, because I would have thought that for you, honestly. But honestly, it's not a costume, but PJs. If I could be comfortable,
Okay, I like that. PJs. Let's go with it. Sil.
I feel like I kind of get to do that when I get to put my red bottoms on. As it's rare, I feel like I'm kind of in costume.
Okay, I'll take that. So you really do get to do that, Brenda.
70s disco with go-go boots.
We'll ask why. I want to know why later. Cherie.
I love the 70s. That's why. But just fun. It's fun.
Cherie.
I think a unicorn. Honestly, we have been doing what we've been doing for so long, and being one of the first females in the industry. Definitely a unicorn.
That makes sense. Franklin?
I'd probably wear an entire football uniform with shoulder pads, helmets, and all.
I love that. Okay, so the answer to this question may take a few more than 1 word, but let's just keep it super brief. What is your biggest goal or area of self-improvement for this coming year? Let's start with Franklin.
My biggest goal, I want to crack over 6 figures income for my business by the end of the year.
I love that. That is fantastic. Debbie.
To increase my social media, and that's huge. That's what I've been working on and focusing on, so that everyone knows my name and that people are just reaching out to me. I don't have to reach out to them.
I'll go give you guys a second. For me, I want to continue. I want to develop, I'll call it ferocious consistency. That's a self-improvement goal for me. Silberia.
I want to bring on 2 more salespeople and absolutely change their life with this industry, the way that it's changed mine.
Fantastic. Brenda?
In 1 word, I would say execution. And it's because I have about 5 things that I want, bolder items that I want to implement for my agents. I have about 120 agents in my office, and I'm always looking for things to implement for them, for their businesses. So I have 5 things that I'm trying to implement, and it's the execution. I need to execute on it and get them created and delivered.
Cherie.
We have been in the process of implementing an operating system. And so it is to finish implementing my operating system and spend more time at the beach.
I love, hey, that's a great segue into this next question. So the one place you hope to travel for either business or pleasure in the next year or two. We'll go right back to you, Sheree.
My husband and I are talking about spending a month in New Zealand. So let's get it on the calendar.
I love it. Brenda.
I have to go to a conference in Miami next month. And so we're extending that to drive down to the Keys. So it is on the calendar and will be fun.
Perfect. Debbie.
Florida, definitely the beaches. We're going to extend a trip that we have with our business in June. So love the beach.
Franklin.
That's a clue right there for everyone. Take those business trips and extend them.
That's a great idea. Franklin.
I want to go to Italy. Yeah, I want to go to Italy.
You should do a book release in Italy. There you go.
I love that.
Genius.
Sil?
This question brings me anxiety because it makes me feel really boring and that I don't really think, bigger. We are going to Nashville. I'll be going to Nashville for the first time this year to go see Morgan Wallen. So we're excited about that in May.
Fun.
That'll be incredible.
It's not on the calendar, but the next year or two, I would like to plan a trip to Maine and the Northeast coast, the whole New England area, preferably in the fall. So that's where we're going. One celebrity that you would love to meet and have a conversation with. No explanation, just the name of the celebrity. Then when we get to wonder why that's the case for you. One celebrity, Debbie.
Taylor Swift.
All right. That's perfect. Brenda.
I don't know that I have one. Mel Robbins is a favorite, and I've met her several times. So I'd almost say that again, just for further conversations.
Franklin.
Stephen Curry.
Okay, I like that. Sheree.
Tony Robbins.
Okay, that's obvious. That's good. Sil.
There's probably many, but right now the first one that came to mind was Jay-Z.
Okay, I like that. For me, I'm gonna go Jordan Peterson. Lyndon Tucker Carlson. Okay, that'd be an interesting dinner and conversation. I almost would have said that myself. All right, let's wrap it up here, guys. Thank you so much to Sheree, to Franklin, to Sil, of course. Let's get final thoughts from you guys. We'll start with you, Sheree.
You know what? I just have enjoyed being here. Thank you, Brenda, for the invitation. And just anytime that you can get a community of like minds together to really discuss and impact a situation is time very well spent. So get yourself in some community, learn some things.
Franklin?
Oh, this is by far my favorite podcast I've ever been on. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but maybe it's the boxes we're in, but I feel like I'm on CNN for some reason. I really
much less contentious and contemptuous than news broadcast usually.
Amazing.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So, final thoughts.
Sorry, you cut up. So I didn't know.
Sorry.
I think my final thoughts, and I know this was supposed to be wrapped around social media and branding, is I would tell everybody that when it comes to your social media, don't be afraid to be who you are. That's really going to attract your client anyways. I didn't get to touch on this, but one of the things I do is when we replace a roof, I actually spray paint scripture on the decking over the house before we put the shingles back on. And being bold in who I am and what I believe and in my faith, again, has just attracted the right people that I'm supposed to be aligned with. So don't be afraid to use your social media to market the true you and trust that it's going to bring the right people in your path by doing that.
Right.
It's almost impossible to market to everybody. So you might as well be yourself because there's enough people that are going to trust in like you. That's fantastic. Debbie, thank you for filling in guest hosting all the way from Frisco, so far from Plano.
Yeah, and join us tomorrow. Yep, tomorrow at 2:30 I'll be hosting again. So if you want a double of Frisco, then
you can never get too much Debbie. You can never. You should double up on Debbie, I guess. Really.
Tomorrow. Hey, by the way, we're having a big airfare for two, hotel and airfare for two giveaway. to celebrate Debbie being named co-host of the month in January. So anybody that's watching can hashtag. We'll give the instructions during the show, but if you're picked live on air, you win.
Yeah. So
and it's really airfare for two. So really, all those places that you guys just wanted to go to, you just get your airfare. So that's that's pretty.
So join us tomorrow at 2:30.
All you gotta do is watch for an hour and 15 minutes. So that's awesome. Well, Debbie, thank you so much. Brenda, what are your final thoughts today as we get ready to close?
I loved everything that Silberia said, and gosh, it's hard to follow that one up. One of the things that I would say from a social media on that topic is I believe it's a mixture of a little bit of everything. You do have to be your authentic self, and I think that people gravitate to who you really are. Throw in a little bit of personal with the business so that they get to know who you are. And it's multiple platforms, just like this one. So we have networked with each other today and with our watchers, our viewers. We have been able to network with all of you, and you've seen a little bit into who we are and what we do. And this is a different platform than traditional social media. So it's a multitude of things, and it is being authentic too.
Well, and that's, authenticity is really the thing that attracts people, honestly. And it's pretty easy to tell when someone's not being authentic. And so I love what you said, Sil. It really is just start by being you, be vulnerable a little bit, put yourself out there, realize that, we all have to be polished, right? We got to get better at our presence and our craft when it comes to social media. But what we don't want to do is be polished beyond who we are. So that's a huge part of social media. It's just, knowing that we're good enough. We can connect with the right people to bring into our circles that are going to help our business and be able to help and serve them. I love how the connection of all of our different businesses, as I kind of mentioned earlier, from, home theater, like the place we spend a lot of our time, right? We spend a lot of time around the TV, watching movies, spending time with our families, whether it be making sure that when it rains, our roof isn't leaking. That's pretty important. And then, of course, just buying a home to begin with. And then myself and Debbie on the finance side, making sure that that's taken care of. And then Franklin, of course, making sure that our kids are getting really good information. Obviously, that's ultimately our job as parents, but to have those types of resources. So I like the collaboration and the synergy that we have here together. If you want to know more information about any of our guests or co-hosts, certainly you see their information that is scrolled during the podcast today, or you can reach out to us. You can comment directly on the show. We will do whatever we can to get you connected with them. But thank you guys. It's been a great show today. Y'all can stick on after we end the show if you want to chat a little bit. Love to get some more information in y'all's hands. But we will be back next week. It is the wonderful Sonia Lowry and, of course, Juan Payon, our other two co-hosts for next show, right here at 11:30. Every Wednesday, except for Fifth Wednesdays, which there's only 3 of those, and we already passed one, so it won't be a while. We'll get to see you back here. Guys, thank you. God bless you all. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for watching today's show. The Community Difference Plano is made possible by
Nathan Smith with Enfuego Financial, Diane Castle with Castle to Castle, connecting charities to fundraising solutions, Jim Thomas, business consultant and business funding expert, Brenda Thompson with Home Smart Stars, Sonia Lowry with Gaston Investments and Development, and by Jacqueline Kreider with PBJ Mortgage. The Community Difference Plano. Together, we can make the difference.